love the countdown. Does it tell you how many people?
Hello. Yeah, it's on countdown 15, 16. 4, 3, 2.
Good evening and welcome to Stafford Education Facebook Live. Got a couple of great guests that have joined me this evening. I've got my old mate, Martyn Holmes.
Hi guys, how you going?
And I've got my old mate, Paul Watts.
How's it going?
Both trainers for Stafford Education that go into colleges to train the trainers. We've got Karen that's on production. So she's, Aaron, aka Karen.
Oh,
so he's with us this evening as usual. And we've got the infamous cameraman, Luke, that's behind the camera. So let me share with you what we're going to be doing this evening. We're going to be using one of our classic level 2 recipes that we coach at the Stafford Academy, the short graduation. And it's going to be a mashup with the one length below fringe that we do with a little twist. So before we get cracking on the cut, let me just share with you the sectioning pattern. So what we've done first of all, we've gone for a classic horseshoe section on the top. Classic horseshoe section that we do. The mathematics are a classic horseshoe size that we use at Stafford Education. So whatever that length is at the side, the top will be that and half again. So basically, the width of the top is 1.5 the width or length of the sides. So that's the measurement of the top. What we've done with the sides here, or should I say the underneath, is we've gone normally with our classic short graduation, we go from the temple, and what we do is we take a point from the occipital bone there to where that section is there, and we go in the middle. So with this one, and then normally this section here would be 3 sections when we cut it, but the difference here is we've got a little bit higher than the temple. So when we cut this section, it's just going to be 2 sections. You'll see why that is so important once we get to the top of the haircut. And then on the top, all we've done is we've taken, if you come around this way, Luke, you can see, we've just taken a V section, centre parting, and just a V section at the front. And that's a really important section there. And you'll see at the end why that's so important. So that's the sectioning pattern. So what we're going to do to start, we're going to take a horizontal section, and my body is going to be directly below, and we're going to pull this out. And with our classic short grab that we teach at the academies, this first section is about 1/3 of the cone. But what we're going to do here with this one, it's going to be just a touch longer. It's going to be a good 1/3 of the cone. So we're going to put it straight out from the head. We're going to put the cone there. This is just a classic size cone. So a normal size cone this is. We're going to put that on the head there. And we're going to pull this out so it's a generous 1/3 of a cone. So a little bit longer than we normally do for the Stafford Education short graduation. Now we're giving away 3 goodie bags tonight. We've got 3 questions that we need you all to answer. One of them is how long, give us a 12 mark, how long do you think Martyn's dreads are? How long? We're going to measure it at the end of the show. So that's the first question. The other question is what football club did Paul used to play for? We're going to let you all know what the answers are at the end of the show. And the third question is what year did me and Martyn first start working together? So 3 questions, 3 goodie bags to give away.
Good luck.
So what we're going to do now with this sectioning, or this cut, is we're going to continue taking horizontal sections. And my body now is going to move around with the sectioning. Just making sure that it's about 3/4 of a cone. And what I'm going to do is, rather than cut on one side and then do the other side, I'm just going to keep moving my body from side to side. And I find this way it's much easier to get the balance on both sides. So a good third of a comb, and we're going to work this all the way around the head. Horizontal section, pulling straight out from the head, using the comb as a little bit of a guide, and we're just following this around so it's all completely the same length. What are you laughing at, Al?
Nah, Adam Sloan said it was 1850.
Yeah.
So, Paul, I want to ask you a question.
Yep.
How long have we been working together on LSE? And tell me about your journey with Stafford Education.
So I think it's about 5 years.
Yeah.
I got an email when I was in Turkey on holiday, one of my only holidays I take from you, and to meet you in Chelmsford in that first college, and we were going through.
That's right. How long ago was that?
I think 5 years.
5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then from then on, we worked on the recipes, sort of like making them simple enough for colleges anyway.
Yeah.
And the terminology in there. And then then you asked me to become a rookie. That was my first.
And what is a rookie?
So a rookie is someone who assists staffs.
And who are the staffs?
Who are the staffs? The staffs are the head trainers. So myself, Martyn, both here. We've got Tony, Mike, we've got Rory, Liam, Hannah. Sorry if I've forgotten a couple more. How many more have we got?
Did you say Rory?
Rory, yeah.
Yeah. Liam?
Liam.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dana, is Dana yet? I've worked with Dana a couple of times.
Dana's still a rookie.
Yeah, so the rookie will assist the staffs on our Varda days.
Do you mind if I just stop you 1 second, Paul? Just as a Paul bit. If you come here, Lou. So what we're doing here is we're working around the head. With our classic short grad, we work right the way to the front of the head. But with this haircut, we're leaving out a little bit of disconnection just there, which is very, very important, and you'll see why once we come to cutting the underneath. And we do that on the other side as well. So we work it around, but we just leave out that bit of disconnection at the front. Sorry, Paul, carry on, mate.
Yeah, so rookieing, it's just a way of us learning the recipes. All the recipes for the colleges, and as soon as we hit the Big 10 in all of them while assisting, then we get promoted to staffs.
And tell me this, was it more difficult learning the recipes or the methodologies in the way that we coach?
First, the methodology.
Yeah.
Basically trying to break your habits. Do you know, like we all learn our own way. And then it was sort of breaking those old habits into bringing it back to foundation level for colleges, for the college tutors to understand, because they've got their own habits as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was the hardest thing when rookieing, was understanding why we're going back to go forward.
Right.
And then they just become second nature, really. I use them in the salon all the time.
And how long did it take you to become a staff?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years of rookieing.
And all the recipes that we have on video and recipe books, which you can get online, yeah? Because how many salons have you got now?
Just relocating one, but 4, yeah.
4 salons. So just tell us how you use them recipes in your salon training.
Okay, so we moved away from college apprenticeships, and we got on board a company that will come and assess our assistants. And then I do the education of the recipes with our assistants in the salons.
Yeah.
And then we put them through the paces of the LSE way that we would train the college trainers as well.
Yeah.
And then they would get assessed on those. But
why do you use them though? Why do you use the LSE recipes?
Control. So having something that no one differentiates from, because the recipe book is the recipe.
Yeah. And you find it effective, do you?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our pass rate now is higher than it ever was.
Yeah.
On first attempt.
Yeah.
With the guys, and it's a great foundation to learn. Rather, when I was at college, I was learning, say, 3 different ways of putting a bob in before I could cut a bob.
Yeah.
Whereas now, there's just this one fundamental way that works,
Yeah.
and is a salon classic.
Let me just explain what I'm doing here. So I'm literally pulling, the first section that I took here was just pulled out straight from the head. I used that section there as a guide and just cut it into the neck. Now we've put it slightly on the angle, a diagonal, only because it's a little bit easier to work like that rather than like this on both sides. And all we're doing now is we're just pulling this out. So this will be the one down the middle, this will be the second section. There's only 3 sections on each side. So we're pulling it out so that it's, we're not over directing it at all, just straight, it's just being pulled straight out from the head. So when I cross check this, you'll see that it's all completely round, the section. Can you see that, Luke? Come over here, mate. It's just, we're just following the head shape. So just nice and round. So this is going to be my, and as I'm taking these sections, I'm making sure, if you come around here, Luke, this is kind of the corner of the back hairline. I don't want to go any further back than that. Again, you'll see why that is important. So when I take this section here, I want to go down to that corner. Get this out of the way so you can really see it. And then, again, it's going to be pulled out. I'm just moving my body around with it each side, just each time, just so it's nice and comfortable as I'm cutting. And I'm just using the previous section as the guide. I'm just cutting it down into the neck. So how long have we been working together on NSE, Mark? Not since we first started working together, because that's the question.
I think I kind of joined you about 3 years ago, along that sort of line, you know. And yeah, it's good. It's good. It's great. Glad to get involved with the education side. What I like is the whole standardisation. You know what I mean? I love that idea because it is difficult, isn't it, when kids are sort of shown a million ways to do one thing. It gets a bit confusing. So I'm really into what you're doing. So that was why I was really interested to get involved and help you out here and get involved with everybody.
Because you spend a lot of your time now. Tell everyone what you spend your time doing for LSE, really.
I'm kind of, well, I was the one that did the vintage Tom.
Yeah.
In the video.
Yeah.
And so I've been going around the country to all the colleges doing like Masterclasses on the vintage Tom.
All 14? Yeah. Have you been to all 14 yet?
I don't think, no, I haven't done the new ones actually. Where are the new ones?
Yeah, well, you got 3 in Wales.
Three new ones in Wales I haven't done. And I think I haven't done all, Howlers Owen, yeah, that one there. Yeah. Birmingham, I haven't done that one yet.
Probably because you couldn't say it right when you was getting
Exactly. But yeah, hopefully I'll go around and do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been good fun as well, going around and meeting everybody. And
what do you do in the colleges, Mark, now? What have you been? Because obviously you work on the Vardas, don't you?
Yeah. So as a staff, I'll go along and I'll do the. I'm sort of doing mainly your long bit, long hair work rather than the cut.
So that's what you kind of specialise in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a good cutter as well, obviously.
Yeah, of course. But long hair has been my passion since day one, really.
Yeah.
I was always into long hair, dressing. I was taught by much older lady. To be honest with you, when she was teaching me, it was a bit boring. She was teaching me like rollers and pin curls.
Oops.
That's the beauty of life.
Sorry, madam.
That's a bit harsh.
So yeah, this lady, she would make me do these finger waves and pin curls, all this stuff that I didn't want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was the 80s. It was early 83 I started.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, and I wanted to be doing shaving the sides off and doing red fans, like flock of seagulls kind of mad haircuts. Yeah. It was the 80s. But no, I had to do finger waves, pin curls, learn how to use a pair of tongs the old-fashioned way. And do you know what? Now I'm so glad. I mean, if she was still with us, I'd go and give her.
Is she not with us
No,
anymore?
she's not, unfortunately. But so I'm so glad that she made me do it, the discipline of doing it, because even though I hated it and I thought I'm never going to use this again, I've been using it all my life, and it's fantastic. And I think it is a bit of an art that it's not dying, but if we don't carry on with
It's
it and pass it on, which is for me passing on knowledge, because I say it all the time, I can't take what I've got up here over 35, 36 years of hairdressing. Why take it to the grave with me? Yeah. So the LSC gave me a chance to give back, and I love teaching. Yeah. I love giving knowledge, sharing. I like to say sharing rather than teaching, because I don't feel I'm teaching, I'm sharing. This is how I did it. And because another thing I'd say is, unfortunately, when I started my hairdressing career, it was very much like you stand behind your stylist and you watch and you wash your hair and you don't say nothing. You can't ask questions. He will not tell you what he's doing. So you just like learn, you copy. All right. So when it's my turn, it's like, well, I know that if I want to graduate Bob, I'll do what John was doing. So I know if I do that, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Didn't know why or how or the physics or the maths. And it took, I would say, and I've got to be honest, I'd say it took me 10 years to understand what I was doing.
Same with me,
understand it.
It took me 10 years before I liked anything that I did.
Exactly. Yeah. But I didn't have people helping me. So whereas I want to go, look, this is how you do it. This is what I would do. Boom, 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 boom. Have it.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't get that, and I felt not cheated, but I just think it was wrong. You know, I just thought it was a bit naughty.
Because you do a lot of education or seminars for the students in the colleges, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Havering College.
Yeah.
I've just recently done a fantastic one with Crewe Campus College, which is great. They asked me to come along, and we had such a great day. It was wonderful, and again, it keeps me going. You know, it reminds me why I love the industry. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Standing behind your chair, cutting hair all day, talking to someone different every hour, having that rapport and blind. I don't ever give that up.
No, same.
But there comes a point where you have to slow down a little bit. So what can you do on the side? Start doing teaching, education, pass it on. So that's what it's all about for me. So that's why, you know, getting involved with LSC was, for me, the right path to take. Do you know what I mean?
Because you've been doing seminars to students, you've also been doing employers events, haven't you? Where
did, yes, that's right. I did an employers event where...
A very good one.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
Well, everyone was raving about it. Like, oh, yeah.
Oh, excellent. That's nice to know. So there you go. See, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if they're liking it, that makes me happy and makes me want to do it more and give more. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it was great fun to get up there, and you know what? It was one of those seminars where people asked questions. A lot of the time, people they clam up. Yeah. And it's like you've got, come on, ask me a question. Ask me a question. Yeah.
But whereas, do you think the methods that we use encourages people to ask questions or gives them confidence?
Well,
because that's one of the Stafford Education's
they're easy to
techniques,
understand.
Isn't it?
They're easy to understand.
Yeah.
And if you can understand something straight away, you want to know more. And I mean, you know, I remember the days when me and you and the other guys would go up to sassoons and sit in the front row, putting your hand up, annoying them.
Yeah.
And I bet they would be like, you know, oh no, not him again. not Lee Stafford again.
I bet they loved it, really.
Yeah.
It makes their job easier, doesn't it? Let's be honest, doesn't it?
But yeah, I mean, I remember that it was pretty much us asking questions. Yeah. When people behind us are just silent. Yeah. I can't understand that. People paying to do something.
So we've got some people in chat asking for a head check, cuz.
Okay, so let's have a little head check. We're giving away 3 goodie bags. The 3 questions are, which we're going to answer at the end of the show. How long are Martyn's dreadlocks?
In centimetres.
In centimetres.
Someone said down to the ankle. So.
What football team did Paul used to play for? Premier League. And how long ago did Martyn and myself actually start working here? What year, sorry. Okay, so a little head check. So what we've done so far, the sectioning pattern is the occipital bone's there, the sectioning pattern from the top is there. That is just a bit higher than in the middle of them 2 points. That goes through a little bit higher than the temple. I've just been very aware that the amount of hair that I leave there, I just want to be able to do that in 2 sections. The top is the classic horseshoe section from LSC, section down the middle, and we've got a V section at the front. What I've done with the cut so far is we have taken a horizontal section that's a good third of a comb, and we've worked this all the way to the front, but not right to the front, literally about half a centimetre, 3/4 centimetre to the front, we've left out these areas, so they're completely disconnected. Around the back here, we've worked on both sides, slight diagonal sections, just to the corner there of the hairline on both sides. And this has just been pulled out using that first cut as a guide and just cut right down into the nape. And then we've just followed that all the way, it was 3 sections on each side. So that's what we've got at the back. Now we're going to let that down. So now you can see why that was so important, because when I was first experimenting with this look, this section was a bit bigger. It was our classic way of doing it, the short graduation at LSE, but it didn't leave enough hair here. It was a little bit weak. So that's why that is a little bit higher. So that's it, done at the back, nice and simple. All we're going to do now is the front. So this is our...
Really? Going straight into the fringe now?
Go straight into the fringe.
Oh, yeah.
Can I,
Didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming.
There's a few questions popped up in the chat. Excuse me. So how many sections are there across the top?
Across this
That's
top?
from Hannah Wilden. Yeah, how many sections are there?
Well, we haven't got to the top. I like your thinking, Hannah. We haven't quite got to the top yet, but actually, I can tell you now, it's probably probably 4 sections on the top. So we've done 6 sections around the back, 1 section all the way to the front to begin with, and there'll be 6 sections on top. There's not a lot of sections in this haircut. Once you've done these 2 sections here, you're probably looking at, what's that? 6, 4, 10.
Come on, Lee.
12.
Quick maths.
About 16 sections.
It's about 16 sections.
Excellent. Well, Hannah, I hope that answered your question. Jessica Jane Stafford's got a random one.
Hello, darling.
Where did Martyn get his glasses? They NHS.
Where did I get what? Oh, you mean what? These bits. Well, these bits just come off. I was fed up carrying a pair of sunglasses in one pocket.
They look very cool.
One pocket of sunglasses, one pocket of my, because I need glasses. So basically, yeah, I just got fed up carrying 2 pairs around. So I just bought these clip-ons on. Can I say Amazon? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Got to take them off of that. See what I'm doing? Got them off, that's it. So it just saves me. The son has got his hat on. Hip, 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 hooray. You know, there you go. So that's it, yeah. I've got them on
I like
Amazon.
them, mate. I like them. Okay, so this is the classic way that we cut a fringe on the 1 length above at the Stafford Education Academies. So all we're going to do now, with the fringe that we cut on the 1 length above, what we do is we pull this down and we use where the nose
Bridge.
gets in, the bridge. Thank you, Martyn.
Yeah.
Thank you, Martyn.
That's not a problem, mate.
Yeah.
Known him a long time.
Yeah, I've only been speaking English for 52 years, but you know. That's
Not very well, though.
That's the Essex boy in me. Yeah, we normally put it on the bridge of the nose. But what we want to do here is bring that down a little bit. Yeah, so it's a little bit longer. And we're just going to use the points of our scissors, and we're just going in at a 45-degree angle, just so that we cut a blunt line, but it's a bit more diffused. It's a bit more textured. So just below the bridge of the nose, cut the centre piece first, and then what we're going to do is we're going to keep our body completely centred. We're going to make sure that our finger angle now is completely square. So we're going to be cutting this completely square, and because the round of the head, what you're going to find is that this is going to go round now. You cut a square shape at the front, and because the head's round, it will fall round. So I'm just going to bang this in nice and quick to begin with, being very cautious of my finger angle, keeping nice and square. If I can keep this square on both sides, my balance will be easier. But what you find is, because I'm right-handed, it happens in bobs as well, it always tends to drift off a bit down that way. So what we're going to do now is just put the comb in. Actually, it's not too bad, but I'm just going to use the points of the scissors now, just to make sure that that is completely square. You can see it's just dipping down a little bit there. Just using the points of my scissors. And the same there as well.
They're quite small, your scissors, aren't
They are quite small, aren't they? Do you use big ones then,
I
mate?
can't use anything less than 6 inches, mate.
Really?
Yeah. Find it very difficult.
Why is that, do you think?
Well, I suppose using them for years and years, you get muscle
Yeah.
memory. So I'm just that's the size of my scissors.
What about you, Paul?
Varied really. When I do
Yeah.
men's, I'll use 6s, 6.5. When I'm doing
Yeah.
women's, I'll do 5, 5.5.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Getting hair off with gents, just banging that off back and sides. Women's, just a little bit more refined, so maybe.
Interesting.
I suppose because, you know, I learned in the 80s. And in the 80s, everyone had very, very small scissors.
Yeah,
do you
don't
remember?
get me wrong. I remember them. Yeah.
And it's just what you get used to, isn't it?
Mm.
You know, I've just been always used to using these tiny little scissors. And I suppose, you know, my mentor, Stacey, as well, always used to have tiny little scissors, didn't he? Stacey Broughton. So, of course, it just kind of stuck, really. Okay, so you can see now, if you come around here and have a look at this, Luke, we've got just a nice, just square line. I mean, I could spend a little bit more time just polishing this up, just making sure that it's dead. You can also see, because I've used the points of the scissors, rather than it being too blunt, I'm making sure that my body is directly in front, that I'm not, because the minute that I start to move over here is when that is going to start to round off. And I want this roundness, because that's going to follow into the sides, you see. So it's quite simple. You just keep your body centered right at the front, and you just keep your comb or your fingers square. And that's it. It's a little bit longer than the way we classically cut the fringe, which would be on the bridge. So that now is done. That's the first part of the haircut done. Any questions on that, boys?
I've got one in chat.
Yeah, go on in.
It's basically about the fringe.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've lost it now. Where was it? Oh, Jessica Marvel. She
Yeah.
asks, when does cutting a fringe not become scary anymore?
That's a good
That's a
question.
good question.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that cutting hair, to be quite honest with you, is... that's a good question. When does it not become scary? I think it's scary for a long while.
Yeah, a long
personally.
time. A long time.
Until you really start to understand hair and understand what the fringe is going to do. I think you're always a little bit like that, and yeah? What about you, Paul?
I think it's when well, my team, a lot of them always say, can I go and put a fringe in, like the graduates or new stylists. I've just got a way of sort of knowing the fringe is going to be how I want it to be. I've got a really...
But how long did it take that?
How
to do
long?
that?
Well, been doing it 12 years. 8?
Yeah, it takes a long while before you're completely confident
I
to
think
whack it in.
it is time, isn't it? And years of experience.
Yeah.
It's got to be, isn't it? I mean,
is there a number of cuts you can do, or is it a time? Is it a time thing? Like if you were to do 100 cuts in a year, surely.
I think everybody's different, right? Because people learn at different rates. You also read it. People learn at different rates. So I think for me, I think it's experience, it's time, it's years. I mean, I always say experience is a word we use for our mistakes. Right now, I've been cutting hair a long time and I've made loads of mistakes. But me, it's experience.
Do you still have any fear in any haircuts?
I wouldn't say there's any fear.
You do now.
I wouldn't say there's any fear, but I do step back and I think about it first.
Right.
You know, because of the experience over the years. Don't get me wrong, 25 years ago, I might have had a bit of a panic up, or if you just cut it a little bit too short. And don't get me wrong, I've done it recently, you know. There's one of the girls at work, I shouldn't say it, but she asked me to cut a fringe. And I went, no worries, bosh. I just one of the girls at work, didn't think about it, and it just went bosh up here. And luckily, it was Tash. Remember Tasha?
Oh yeah.
It was Tasha. And if she's watching,
sorry, Tash.
I said sorry, but that just brought me back into check.
Right.
I was blasé about it, and I could put my hands up and say,
you've always got to think about it.
It was just Tash at work, and I shouldn't have thought like that.
What about you, Paul? Is there any type of hair or texture that intimidates you in the salon?
Not anymore. Like Martyn said, it is basically stepping back and just looking at it and assessing hair growths, all the textures and everything like that now. Whereas when you are, this is the scary part, I think, that you think the client thinks you don't know what you're doing when you're new.
Yeah.
And you're standing there and you're expected to create magic, and this client's giving you a brief, and that's the scary part, where they want you to change their life.
It burns, doesn't it? The expression burns into the side of your psyche.
I've got a question for you all, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not now, but did you ever go on holiday, have a great little holiday, come back and think, shit, I've forgotten how to cut hair? I think, what do I do? Have you ever done that?
Well, it's the whole
Because I've done that. I've done that and I've panicked.
Yeah.
That, can I still cut hair? I don't know. I mean, I'm not talking now, but I mean, 20 years ago, you know.
What do you mean, a particular haircut?
No, just
or
in
like
general,
forget-
like coming back off a holiday of like
Well, your
3 weeks
confidence disappear. Your confidence disappear. Well, what did you do then?
as you're learning, well, you just.
What did you
You
do?
just get back straight into it, and it's like riding a bike.
Right.
It's like falling off, but getting straight back on. But
Muscle memory.
I didn't quite fall off. I think I just had a great holiday and relaxed so much. I thought I've forgotten how to cut hair, but it does come back. Yeah, but I've had that fear a few times over the years.
No, I
Don't know why.
Related to that, it's the
Maybe it's because I care.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I mean, you know, seriously. Maybe because I care.
Okay, let me just fill you in what I'm doing here, guys. So now, what we've done is that section that we had through the middle there, we split into two. And all we're doing, horizontally, and all we're doing now is we're just putting the comb in, just lifting it up, and we should be picking up that guide on the underneath, that first guide that we put all the way through. So we're just putting that comb in, picking it up, and you'll see that guide on the underneath. And we're working to the front of the head again, but we're just leaving out that front bit, yeah? So that front bit, if you come around this side, Luke, you'll just see that front bit that we've just left out there. Just leaving out that front bit, so it's disconnected. And I'm just going to work that around. And then we take that out, and we've got our last section now.
Right. Okay.
And then we do exactly the same with that piece as well. So what you want to do is put the comb in, lift it, just lift it out. You don't want to lift it out too much because you'll lose that guide. Just lift it out until you can sort of feel and see that guide on the underneath. Can you see that, Luke?
Yeah.
Right there, so you can really clearly see that guide. And then I'm going to work around to this side, picking it up, always being conscious of that guide on the underneath and making sure that you can clearly see that guide on the underneath. And again, as we come round to the front, we're just making sure we leave out that disconnected piece. And the same on the other side.
Oh, that's a
You'll see
really
that.
lovely thing to say.
What's that?
Karen Parsons has said, great cutting only comes with experience, but great techniques improve any cut. Watching you, Lee Stafford, and your team have improved my skills as a teacher to deliver great techniques.
Thank you
in
for
class.
letting us
Yeah.
know that.
Thank you for that.
That's lovely. Thank you.
That's my old teacher.
Is
Yeah,
it?
she taught me.
Wow.
Trisham, yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
So if we cross-checked all this now, you'll be able to see, like if we come this way, for example, Luke, you'll be able to see that we've just got a little bit of dust there.
A little bit of dust.
A little bit of dust.
Anybody? No.
Dust, anybody? You can see, as we come round to the front here, you can see the graduation that we've got there, yeah? Round here, you can see that graduation, right? So now, all that underneath's done now. So that's all done.
Do you think there'd be people out there looking at this thinking, what on earth is going to, what's he going to do now? Because I mean, I've got a good idea what's happening here, but I think for the first time, you've been like, oh, it's quite confusing.
Yeah.
Do you think it's confusing?
Well, no, I know what's going to
Yeah.
go on, but
Yeah.
from someone else looking, I think, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
Okay, well that's a good link. So I've got one I prepared earlier, rather than you just see me spend 10 minutes blow drying this off. So this is a haircut that's been cut exactly the same.
But dried.
But dried off, yeah?
Right.
So that's exactly the same haircut.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now
That's a
is...
lovely mannequin head you got there, Lee.
Yes.
Where's that from?
So these are from Pivot Point. I've been using Pivot Point
Mm-hmm.
all my life. We use all the Pivot Point heads in the academies. I think they're the best heads.
Yeah.
Always use Pivot Point stands. If you're going to use mannequins, I highly recommend that you get a fantastic stand, because if you don't have a good stand, it makes the whole experience really, really
Difficult.
yeah. and annoying. You know what I mean? So this stand, I mean, look at it. It's like, it's
Solid.
absolutely
Yeah.
solid. I think the only thing, I love this stand, it's brilliant. I think the only thing you've got to be mindful of, which probably took me about 10 attempts, being a dozy Essex boy I am, is to just adjust these. You adjust it by turning it clockwise, and then you can adjust the legs, and it's even got all the measurements here, right?
You may just work that one out.
No, but then it's turned it back anti-clockwise to tighten it. And if you don't know, I know, it's stupid, isn't it? So if you don't know the clockwise, anti-clockwise buzz, you can spend hours thinking, where am I going with this? Okay, so now...
But they've given us a 15% discount. So if you mention Lee Stafford Live when ordering, they will give you 15% off.
Really?
So thank you to Pivot Point.
I forgot to do something on the other haircut, guys. And that was just around the back here. All I did round here was I put the comb in square again and just cut a square line all the way around like that.
Okay.
So quite similar to how we did it with at the front. Yeah?
Cool.
Just to get it nice and textured, even though it's a solid line. Yeah, I forgot to do that over there.
Yeah, it looks soft, doesn't it?
It looks soft.
It doesn't look like it's been hit
No.
with a hatchet.
No, it's still kind of quite a
but
solid
it's-
line, isn't it?
yeah.
So all we're going to do round here, we use a lot of natural fall in LSC. So to kind of get this shape going on here, I want to go from here to there. Right, that's where we want to go. So using my scissors in a 45-degree angle, all I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to, we call this just sketching in. So I'm just going to sketch it in to begin with, just using the natural fall of the hair.
You make that look easy. I mean, that is confidence for you, isn't it? Not being funny, but I mean...
Well, you just sketch it in to begin with.
Yeah.
You can clearly see that where you're going and where you want to end up, yeah? So you're just looking for a line, and if you hold the head like that, you can clearly see the line. And again, I'm using the points of the scissors just so I get a solid line there, but it's more of a...
It's soft.
It's a soft line, yeah? So,
So if you do this on a client, say...
you just bend their head
would
down.
you get it to stand up, though?
Like, yeah, good point, Mark. Good point, mate. I'd get her to stand up, put her head down. I mean, in LSC, we work with a lot of natural fall, don't we?
Yeah.
When we cut our bobs, the head's up natural, so the hair's falling. And it's just the same, really. We're just getting that head.
It's simple, isn't it, really?
Just
stand up and tilt your head forward.
Otherwise, you could work ages on that, couldn't you?
You do.
And it's a difficult line, isn't it?
It is.
You know what I mean?
It
I've
is.
got a question in chat about head position.
Yeah.
Lisa Patterson asks, how far would you ask a client to tilt their head forward in order for you to cut the back of this haircut?
That's a good question. I mean, to be quite honest with you, if she's doing this, so you'd want her to stand up, wouldn't you? And kind of, her head would have to be like that. So it's not that far forward. Let's have a little look if it was on your shoulders. I mean, it's not that...
Stafford Beetlebrox. He had two heads.
That's a good question.
It is a good question. Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
We've got 3 questions we need answered. We're going to reveal the answers at the end of the show for some goodie bags. And the questions are, how long do you think in centimetres Martyn's hair is? What professional Premiership club...
But not now.
But not now. Okay, that's a clue.
Big clue.
That's a clue.
Yeah, they're not now.
Not now. Did Paul play for? And what year did me and Martyn first start working together? So they're the 3 questions. Okay, so this side is my easier side. It's quite easy to do that if you're right-handed. Right now, I could work on this for quite a bit more, really, just polishing it up.
Of course,
But
yeah.
you can get the idea of that,
Yeah,
can't you? Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's a little bit of polishing around there. We can come back to that. That's no problem. This side, it's a little bit more difficult because I'm right-handed. So you can either get a left-handed person to do it for you, which
we haven't got any then today.
we haven't got any of them here. Or you're going to have to do the same thing, but just kind of cross your hand over like this. And again, it's the same thing. Just using my scissors at a 45-degree angle as we go in. And the 45-degree angle, just give it that textured.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things for me with the recipes, the
Yeah.
bobs and all that sort of thing, was drying it off,
Yeah.
so the ears don't come into play
Exactly.
with this.
Exactly. Because again, if you had that wet,
Yeah.
and you took too fine a sections, the ears would be a big problem with this. So because we've used a big fat section, dried it off, and that's how we cut our bobs as well, then the ears just don't come into play. It's as if the client hasn't really got any ears.
God, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
It'd be nice to take them off and put them back on after, wouldn't it?
It's kind of like doing that with this
Yeah.
technique, isn't it? You know. So you can see how easy that, quick that was. And the same with our bobs, isn't it? Because we take a big fat section, dry it off, we just do it in like one hit, don't
Yeah.
we? We just have the client's head up nice and natural, and then we just go,
Bosh,
we get
yeah.
the back done first, don't we? So we've got a nice line to work from, and then we just go wallop straight into it.
And
So-
there's none of that like section, working through it.
No.
It's just in one.
In one.
Yeah.
And because of that, the hairline doesn't come into play, does it?
No.
The ears don't come into play, and it works well, doesn't it? You know,
Saves a lot of time as well.
saves a lot of time. It's quite unorthodox, but it just works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So straight away you can see the shape that we've got there. It's got quite a nice little shape going on there, haven't we? And you can also see now why it was so important to have that section there a little bit higher, because it kept the weight here. You know, when I first started experimenting with this, it was too wispy. You know, and it didn't fill up that space, especially behind the back of the head.
It's always been a problem though, hasn't it?
Yeah, that bit behind the ear,
Yeah.
because of the natural shape of the head.
And again,
you know.
that's something that when you're learning, takes a bit of time for it to sink in,
Yeah, definitely.
doesn't it?
Yeah. You're over directing back with a normal grab bob,
Yeah.
say. But then
Yeah.
if the hair isn't there, you've got a really weak outline.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to this, or you can come back to this, and this is the kind of thing that you would really start to
It looks cool.
polish up, wouldn't you? You know, but you get the gist of that, don't you? Yeah. Whack that in just in a couple of minutes.
Which gives you more time to polish it anyway.
Exactly, exactly. So
That's
now
great.
we're going to go on to the top. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a vertical section here. Not a vertical section, a diagonal section, sorry. And we are going to, first of all, not worry too much about that section at the top there. We are going to connect this. My body is going to come slightly to the side of it. I'm going to connect that to there. And then we're going to pull this up, and we're going to connect that to there. And by doing that, it means that you've got this
Little
bit of
visor.
overhang there.
It's going to sit like a visor,
Little
isn't it?
visor, yeah.
Like it.
So then we'll take another section. So like I say, there's only like about 4 sections on the top. It's nice and easy. I like to keep the sections nice and clean here. You've only got 4 sections, so it's nice to keep them clean so you can see exactly what you're doing. I'm going to move my body slightly more around here. Keep that top bit out of the way for now. Connecting first of all to that underneath section there. And then again, we bring it up to the top.
I think that's what's quite daunting first time looking at NSC recipes is the amount of section that we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then when it all comes together this simply,
Absolutely. I think the thing is, everyone always kind of is a bit miffed by the amount of sections that we put in.
yeah.
Pre-sections especially. But we always say it's like sat nav. Them pre-sections make sure you get there on time You don't get lost. You don't get stressed.
Yeah.
And the great thing about that, it means that you can stand it, you can repeat it. And that's very difficult. I found that really hard in my career at the beginning. You know, I'd cut someone's hair, not quite know what I was doing. They'd come back to someone exactly the same. You're like, I haven't got a clue what I did.
Yeah.
Where now I know that I can replicate this exactly the same, which makes it easier to then be a bit creative because you can start twisting it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
How long was you working on this recipe?
This one, I probably cut this head a good 4 times.
So not many then?
Not many.
Really?
Not many. I mean, to begin with, I had a very different idea with it. I was going to cut it a bit more Mary Quant, where it came down like that and then came up like that. So I was playing with that first, but I didn't like it. Then I tried it again. So you have to just experiment.
Same 2 haircuts.
So
Same 2 haircuts that you get.
it was used when I first was playing around with this look. It was I was hoping to do like a Mary Quant.
Yeah.
So it was a heavy fringe. It came down there, and then it came up again. But I didn't. I wasn't happy with it. So I just kept working at it, getting more heads out, and before I knew it, I had something I was happy with. You know.
Did it just happen, or did you get inspired by something else?
It's funny, you know, that when you're up here in the studio, you've got loads of time, and you start you've got loads of minutes, and you start just working through it.
Yeah.
Before you know it, all of a sudden something happens, and you go, I like that. Like, you know, this bit that hung over here, I could have quite easily chopped that off.
Yeah.
But when I dried it off, I thought, oh, that looks lovely,
Yeah.
you know. So that wasn't planned. It was a nice surprise, you know. But to be quite honest, whenever I do these Facebook Lives, very rarely does it come together straight away. Most of the time, I'm sweating, you know, in the last week, thinking I haven't got this right, you know. But you have to just keep working at it, don't you? You know.
Yeah.
So you've got a nice bit of graduation on the top there now. Nice and simple. It's nice and methodical. Nice and simple. And then we do exactly the same with the other side. So we're taking a horizontal section now. Get that out of the way. So this first bit, you don't worry too much about this bit. We'll come back to that bit. You just want to...
Nice clean section there.
Nice clean section, yeah. And then we come over to this bit. So what you'll find now with this is we have got a triangle on the top, yeah? Which has given us that overhang there, that nice sort of V at the front. Another diagonal section. So I'm not worrying too much about that top bit. Just moving my body around so I'm just behind it. Keep it clean, Lee. Keep it clean, mate.
That's important to keep it clean.
Yeah, it is.
See where you've been, see where you need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The minute you don't keep it clean is the minute you get on the bum, isn't it? Every time.
Yeah, I'm a bit anal when it comes to the sectioning. It's got to be clean and it's got to be precise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do it once, do it right, eh? And the thing is, there's no doubt about it, I passionately believe that, you know, the way that we pre-section and the way, you know, it gives you a better end result. That's why we do it, you know. And in the long run, you know, I think that you'll work quicker because of it.
Well, I've got to be honest, you've knocked this out really quick. Considering you've stopped and you've explained,
yeah,
it's pretty quick, really, isn't this technique?
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's not. It's simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice and simple.
It's nice,
easy
and simple.
to understand.
Yeah. So the body's just moving around. just moving around.
It's just great to see how we can use our recipes and mash them together to create something a little bit more photographic.
Oh,
Hey.
careful. It's like Michael Jackson.
Come on now.
There.
Come on, Alan.
Sorry, I was having fun on Clash of Clans.
Okay, so you can see now what we
Go
have.
on, you're Ronnie Slack.
Oh, sorry. No, I get you. Can't say that, Mark.
What we've got with it, if we do a section through the top, you can see that point that we've got all the way through it. A nice triangle. So, for the sake of time, guys.
Can I just ask a question?
Of course, mate.
Because it's in this nice triangle.
Yeah.
Would that mean that you could actually wear that anywhere? You could move it anywhere and it would still work?
What do you think? Do you think you could?
Well,
I'll tell you what.
I think possibly.
Let's get another head out that's dried off, and you can have a little play afterwards and see what you think about dressing it out. It's a good question, that, Mark. So, this is exactly the same length and haircut that I've done now. I've just polished it off around the sides. What I did is I just worked through it, taking horizontal sections, pulling it out, and I just texturised it, put another one up. I didn't deep point cut it. All I wanted to do was make sure that it looked lived in. That's all we was looking for. Because all this was cut with the points of the scissors, and this was cut blunt, we just went through it exactly in the same method, just point cutting the whole thing so it was just a bit looser.
Mate, I love this.
So have a little,
This
dress it
is
out,
awesome.
dress it out, see if you can go
I've
in
got a
different ways.
question
right?
from
Yeah.
Diane Mitchell.
Hello, Diane.
She's asking, do you find it easier to do one side than the other? Have you got a preference?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, of
I
course.
mean, it probably took me 10 years, because that's the thing as hairdressers. Imagine if you was a sculptor. Sculptor, thank you, Martyn.
Sorry.
You've got to do something with your right hand, or your right side, and then you've got to try to mirror it, exactly the same sculpture.
Unless you're ambidextrous.
Yeah. So it's very, very difficult. It took me years before I was as comfortable on one side as the other. What about you, Paul? Did it take you years before you felt as comfortable on both sides?
Honestly, it was when I started with LSE because of the inside-out method.
What, so you wasn't even as comfortable on both sides until you started working with these recipes?
No, because I was always cutting blind, so cutting from the right into the middle.
Yeah.
And it was like a light bulb moment. When you showed me inside-out method, it was just like, oh my god.
Can you explain what the inside-out method is for everyone that's watching at home?
Well, yeah, so we put our guide in through here, and then we'd cut a line here, come in this way, and then we'd flip that way, and then we'd work from the guide we've just put in, and then we'd work.
So did you always get that, because you're right-handed, was it always longer that side?
Yeah.
So, a little bit of a recap, guys, and then we're going to measure Martyn's dreadlocks, and give you the answer to the question for the 3 goodie bags. This is our classic short grad that we teach at Stafford Education. The only difference is the way that we have finished off the underneath because we've left it disconnected, and the way that we've cut the top.
It's awesome. I love it. Mrs. Brown is getting that at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
What was I just about to say then? A very, very simple, classic technique. A little bit of a twist at the front. And it's, it
It's
works,
really cool,
doesn't it?
mate. It's really, really nice.
Thanks, mate. Okay, so you get a good shot of that, Luke?
No, it's beautiful.
It is really nice.
Thanks,
Love that
guys.
little visor in the front.
Thanks, guys. You can see also now by, we left all the disconnected pieces at the front. If we hadn't have done that, that line would have gone right the way through there. By leaving them disconnected, it means when we put that line in, you had the weight there as well.
Yeah,
you
cool.
see?
Yeah.
Whereas if you could have carried that all the way through, you wouldn't have had that
No.
shade whatsoever. It would have bitten into it.
It would have done.
You know?
It'd been a bit weak.
Yeah, it would have been weak, it wouldn't have flowed. So you've got that graduation there, but you've got that disconnection and all that heaviness that runs through there.
Beautiful.
Thanks, guys. So, okay, so should we, what should we do
Well, I can
first?
tell you how long they are.
No, let's measure it. Go on, let's measure it.
Yeah,
Let's measure it. Come on, Mark.
Right, do you want to hit, we've got some guesses.
Yeah.
Do you want to have some guesses?
Go
We've got, someone was very specific, put
Yeah.
102.6 centimetres.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's
There's the
necessary.
longest one.
And where are we measured from?
Top of your head.
Top of your
Top of your
head.
head.
Top of
Natasha
your head.
Banfield says
Hold that,
126.
Mark. Hold that on the top of your head, mate.
Owen Coogan says 95. Lisa French 62.
Wow, Martyn,
Lisa
this is going
Patterson.
up down your bum hole, mate.
Just where I want it.
I reckon that's 96.
96.
97.
No, 96.
96.
Owen Coogan has
96.
given it 95 up there.
96
96
centimetres.
Alright, no more guesses. We've given you the answer.
That's it.
96
96
centimetres
centimetres.
wins it.
Okay, so Paul, what
96
Premiership
centimetres
team
it
did
is.
Paul used to play for, Paul?
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa. So what happened?
Just injuries. Tore
Yeah.
my hamstring at 13.
Yeah. And you got into Henderson.
Yeah.
Every cloud, mate.
Yeah.
Every cloud.
Yeah,
Martyn, when did we first start working together?
1990.
1990, nearly 30 years
Jesus
ago.
Christ.
Martyn and I, we worked together at the first ever Stafford salon in Hadley.
In
Small
Hadley,
little shop,
yeah,
wasn't it, mate?
yeah.
Only a few of us there, so we've known each other a long, long time. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I want to thank...
We've got a little bit more admin
Oh, have
to
we?
do
Go on then.
before we go. Obviously, we need to 360 the hair, but we need to ask everyone how people can get in touch with them. We need to let
Yes.
people know where all of our academies are.
Okay,
throughout
so we've
the
got an
UK.
academy at Stoke-on-Trent.
We've got
Three in Wales, one at South Tyneside, North Kent, North Lindsey, New City College, Hull College, Halesowen, Doncaster, Chichester, Bournemouth, Aberdeen and Whitney. So if anyone is interested in a career in hair, then please you can contact us, Stafford Education, and we can put you in contact with the college.
Yeah.
I want to thank my great guest, Paul Watts.
What are you up to, guys, in this amazing world of hairdressing? What are you doing for next month?
Colour World. So I'm doing 2 days at Colour World, then flying out to Holland with Joyco.
Lovely.
I'm convalescing because I had a shoulder operation. I had to have some bone removed. So I've been taking it easy.
You've just got back from holiday.
I've just
anyway,
got back from...
so-
Well, I had 4 days in Spain for my birthday. Just had my birthday. But I'm
So
just taking
you're
it
hitting the
easy.
studio with
Taking
me,
it
right?
easy. Yeah, I'm going to come and see
Look
this
after
man
it.
here. We're going to do some music.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Lee, thanks for
Always
inviting
a
us.
pleasure.
Also, thank you so much
Thanks,
to
Karen.
Pivot Point.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Pivot
Don't call me
Point.
Karen.
Luke, our great cameraman. First Sunday in every month. Lee Stafford Education, Facebook Live. See you next time.